Hey, my name is Matt, and today we're going to be looking at my new gaming room. So less than a year ago, I'd completely changed my room from this to this, and you may be wondering, that looked pretty nice, why'd you change it again? Don't get me wrong, it was really nice, but just the way the room was set up, it was only good for one person to use a computer, and that was about it. So now I have a place where two people can play PC at once, and I got this awesome TV set up in here so you can play console games or watch movies. And it totally doesn't match the rest of the room at all, but I got a project table over here because I can't live without it. So let me go ahead and walk you through all the details of how I got everything set up. So first, the TV area. I went with a 50-inch Samsung TV, and it is a perfect size for this room. You know, you don't gotta be sitting on the edge of your seat or squinting to see all the details when you're playing games. And I also put an extra long LED strip on the back of the TV to give it that really satisfying glow, and it actually plugs straight into the USB on the TV. So I hung the TV on the wall with the mount I found on Amazon. It was from a company called Mounting Dream, and you do have to screw the mount into the studs in the wall, which is unfortunate because my studs are like here and here. But this mount had a lot of adjustable parts, so I was able to get the TV right where I wanted it. And next, I haven't filled them out yet, but I got these floating shelves just to hold games, figures, controllers, consoles. These are IKEA LAC floating shelves, and they are 43¼ inches wide and 10¼ inches deep. They use a bracket to attach to the wall, but the way they are designed allows them to wiggle a little bit, which is kind of cheesy, but in the end, they get the job done. And these can be mounted straight into drywall, but just for peace of mind, I screwed mine into the studs as well. But if you do decide to mount these into drywall, do not buy the drywall anchors from IKEA. Let me just skip my rant and just say these are horrible and they don't work. So to get this setup looking nice, I ended up having to install 3 cable ports in the wall. So one on the bottom, one behind the TV, and one on the top shelf. So these are the ones I got. They look pretty nice, and they also came with a hole saw attachment. But these are low voltage ports, so I got the proper protective tubing for power cables at the store and just ran it all through the wall that way. And then I just used the existing outlet and ran a couple of cables along the edge of the wall. And that way there's power going up to the TV, there's HDMIs going up to the consoles, there's Ethernet cables going down to my router. And that just makes everything look nice and clean here, except for that one power strip on the bottom, which I could easily hide it in the future. And in addition to that power strip, I also have another one behind the TV and on the top shelf. That way, in case I ever want to change out the consoles up here, I don't have to run new cable. I could just plug in up there. And then for the PlayStation Lite and this Pixel Pal over here, I just have a USB charger going up to a splitter and then just running USB cables to those. They don't actually go through the wall. There's actually a mess behind these games, but when everything is set up, you don't see any wires. And then of course I have these 3 RGB Flood Lights here. They're controlled by my phone, but what I really like is that they use Bluetooth and not Wi-Fi. And they have all the colors you would expect from RGB lights, plus a warm white setting. And then of course we got this comfy couch to sit on over here. Nothing really special, but the color does go well with the room, and I picked this up at Ashley Furniture. So that's it for the TV side. It came out really nice and I've been enjoying it. And now for the PC side. So this side of the room is based on having 2 PC setups. The desk is an IKEA Carlby countertop, and it is 98 inches long and 25½ inches deep. And I also have a 22-inch expansion on the side there. That way it covers the entire back wall. The desk is supported by 3 Alex drawers and 1 support leg in the middle. And I finally did some cable management on my desk. Underneath I installed these 2 cable trays, so everything permanent is tied down, while my mouse and keyboard just plug in on top. That way I could swap those out easily. Since the desk sits on carpet, I've had trouble getting these 2 parts to align. It's just the heavier side tends to sink down into the carpet more than this side, so in the future I might raise this just slightly to get that to look a little better. And while that section of the desktop just sits there, it's stable, it's not going anywhere. Since this is a smaller piece, I did secure it to the Alex drawer with some Velcro strips, just so it's not gonna wiggle around or go anywhere. And what was cool was I was able to save a lot of money on this new desktop here, because my old setup had 2 74-inch countertops from IKEA, and I realized IKEA had 365-day returns, so I was able to take one of them back and exchange, trade up, whatever, to this 98-inch one. So it cost me a lot less money instead of just buying a new one outright. Now for me personally, I can't live without having two monitors. And I originally had two identical 24-inch Acer 144Hz monitors, but I wanted both PCs on this setup to be able to run at 144, so I upgraded to a 27-inch LG 240Hz monitor, and it has an IPS panel on it, and that IPS panel was well worth the money. It looks amazing, but now my monitors don't match anymore, so oh well. I also got gas mounts for each monitor, so it's really nice not having to use tools or make adjustments, sit back, see if it's right, go back, you know. You just grab the monitor, move it where you want it, and it stays there. And they also take up a lot less space on your desk when compared to the stands that come with your monitors. Now these monitor arms aren't the cheapest, but I got them because I thought they looked good. And although I did have a little trouble setting them up, once they are set up, they work just fine. And then for each side of the desk, I got a K-Trio XXL mouse mat, which gives you plenty of room for your keyboard and mouse. And then I currently only have one chair, but another matching chair is on order. And then for music, I have my Edifier speakers, which sound great and really fill up the room. Moving up, I have two more IKEA lac shelves. The bottom one is 74 3/4 inches long, and the top one is 43 1/4 inches long. And since I was planning on putting this 30-pound bad boy up here, I went ahead and installed some brackets. That way this shelf will have no problem holding my PC. And I'm really pleased with how this came out. I think it looks pretty sweet having my PC up on the shelf, but I didn't realize how expensive this would be because I had to buy longer cables for everything to reach, and at $5 to $20 a cable, it adds up quickly. So for all the PC cables, everything's just zip tied and running down the corner here, nothing fancy. And then for the light on the top shelf, I went ahead and just ran the extension cable behind the blinds down to the power strip. And then finally, the lighting. As you can see, I have 3 more RGB floodlights on this side of the room. I have a LED strip behind the PC, which gives it a nice glow in addition to what's already going on inside the case. And if I turn these lights off, you can see that I have a LED strip underneath each monitor, which lights up your keyboard area very nicely. And then for the LEDs underneath the bottom shelf, I wanted indirect light, that way an LED wouldn't be shining directly into my eyes while I'm trying to look at the monitor. So I bought some wooden dowels, painted them black, and then I attached them to the bottom of the shelf with this 3M mounting tape, which by the way I used on every single LED strip in this room because the adhesive that they come with just doesn't last very long and the strips will eventually fall off. So this turned out pretty good and gives you some nice indirect light, but I wish the LEDs blended together a little better and you couldn't tell the individual ones apart so well. And all of these lights together really make the room look impressive, and I could always change the feel of the room by just changing the colors. And finally, my project table. In my last setup, I had an L desk, and it was just so nice having that separate space for projects or taking pictures, and you know, I didn't have to clear out my PC area every time I wanted to do something. And I just can't live without that extra space now. And this was actually one of the sides to my old desk, and I just cut it in two and the pieces fit perfectly on that wall and that space right there. And I also got a couple of pegboards to hang on the wall, maybe hang some tools there or whatever, but I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. So that's everything. I'm really happy with how the room turned out. It's definitely a lot more functional now. And what's weird, even though I added all this stuff, it kind of feels like there's more space in this room now. So tell me what you think in the comments, what you liked, what you didn't like. I'll be sure to put links for as many things as I can down in the description. And that's it for this video, so thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.